Good afternoon. I'm terribly sorry that I can't be at the conference in person. It would have been particularly important for me because I first read Polanyi's The Great Transformation 40 years ago in 1968, and ever since been greatly influenced by this amazing text. What I find most amazing about this text is how it finds validation in the most different circumstances, and even much later than it was first conceived. Now, the latest validation comes, or at least it seems to me to come, from the economic reforms, the extension of the market economy in China. I will now quote from Stiglitz, who contrasts the disaster of shock therapies in Russia with the success of the economic reforms in China. What he says is that, unlike Russia, China never confused ends, the welfare of the population, with means, privatization and trade liberalization. It recognized that if it was to maintain social stability, it had to avoid massive unemployment. Job creation had to go in tandem with restructuring. When China liberalized, it did so gradually, and in ways that ensure the resources that were displaced were redeployed to more efficient uses, not left in fruitless unemployment. Although Stiglitz doesn't say so, it seems to me that what he's describing is an eminently Polanyian strategy of extension of the market economy at a pace that society could bear, rather than being torn apart by all kinds of disruptions. Now, it is true, however, and this is introduces an important difference between Polanyi's analysis of the 19th century Britain and what we know and of the process of market reform in China, is that 19th century Britain is not late 20th century and early 21st century China. In 19th century Britain, Polanyi points out that before labor was itself capable of protecting itself because of its organization in unions and other forms of self-protection, often and generally it was a cross-section of society, not necessarily the strata that were most directly affected by the process, that were the bearers of self-protection of society from the disruptions of the market. And this was so because these disruptions posed a challenge to the entire society, not just to the strata that were more directly affected. And so therefore often were even conservative or reactionary forces that took on the task of countering the market tendencies with protective measures. In China today, we face a very different situation. It is true that also in China, at first sight, the top echelon of the Communist Party, that are the agencies of changes in policies to make the impact of the extension of the market bearable to the social strata that are most affected by them. In other words, to pursue the kind of policies described by Stiglitz in the previously quoted passage. However, what is important to realize is that in China's case, these policies and these reactions of the top echelon of the Communist Party are themselves a response to mass actions of protest and arrest both in rural areas and in urban areas on the part of the subordinate strata most directly affected by the processes. In other words, the main difference between 19th century Britain and late 20th century and early 21st century China is that the actions undertaken by ruling groups, whether conservatives in the 19th century or the Communist Party in China in the late 20th and early 20th century. In this case, the response is directly influenced by massive unrest from below. And this is, of course, a reflection of the fact that China in the late 20th and early 21st century is the bearer of a legacy, of a revolutionary legacy, and a long tradition of popular protest and rebellion that was absent in 19th century England. So this is an important difference, and this is the reason of the difference as far as I can see it. Okay, that's about it. Thank you very much.